This afternoon, Laredo ISD has the distinct pleasure of honoring Casey Fowler, the head women's basketball coach for the TAMU Dust Devils, a veteran of the United States Navy. Casey Fowler served our country in the United States Navy from 2012 until 2020. He followed that up with another 3 years of service in the United States Navy Reserve. He shares with us why he wanted to serve our country in the United States Navy and why he chose to put himself through the most rigorous military training known to mankind.
I wanted to be in naval special warfare, special operations. I think that's something, I was a college athlete myself, played basketball, and I think that is something I wanted to test myself and see if you could make it through. You can't do that, when you're older, and you can coach when you're older, but you can't do that. And so, if you're going to do that, you've got to do it when you're young. And so I wanted to test myself and do that. And so that was the decision to do that right out of college.
Coach Fowler was deployed 3 times during his service. He shares with us how that helped prepare him to do the job he currently does as a head coach of the TAMU women's basketball program.
Specifically just being in special operations and what it takes to make it through that. Physically, I think just mentally, attention to detail, those kind of things help you in any aspects of life. You have to have so much internal resolve, resiliency, and then just an attention to detail, to be able to follow directions, do things under pressure. And I think that's things I try to help the team with as a coach. If we don't follow directions or we don't, cover our man or whatever it is, you might lose a game. But in the military and specifically in special operations, someone can get hurt or die. Just in training every day, everything you do is high risk.
Casey Fowler has coached at several places before he arrived in our warm city of Laredo in May of 2025. We asked him how comfortable he has felt since his arrival here and how important his wife and family have been during all of the relocations.
As far as Laredo, I love the heat. I know people that are from here don't know any different. It snowed in Missouri yesterday, talking to family, so I love the heat, and so I have no problem with it. I like it hot. So as far as that goes, I've loved it. So my wife Cassie, and then I've got Camden and Cohen and Casey. So it's all it's all C's, and Cassie and Casey are real close. But my kids are 6 and 3, both boys. So my house is crazy at night. They love to come to games, but I think the biggest thing is just my wife. Obviously anybody, I'll tell you this, what I've put her through, she has not only done one of the hardest jobs as a wife, she's done 2. And so, any good coach is going to tell you you're not going to be able to do anything without your family, and that's true because she's been through 2 of the hardest jobs, I think, and that you can have in the country, and obviously takes care of the kids more than I do. I'm gone a lot, and so just very fortunate to have a family that will let me do that.
Recently, Coach Fowler was able to visit with some of our student athletes at Nixon High School. He tells us about the message that he shared with the students on that day, which is the same message that he shares with the athletes of TAMU.
Well, I think the whole message was really just about work ethic overall, and I think that's what my message is to everybody, and even my own players. What I always try to do as a player is not, you can't judge yourself through, well, this person plays more minutes. Well, that doesn't mean they're more successful, right? Everyone's different. I always tried to reach my potential, right? And while I was in the military, I broke 3 Guinness World Records in 3-point shooting. That's an individual sport when you do that, right? It doesn't matter how high you can jump. You've got to be able to make a certain amount of threes, a certain amount of time. And so, you got to put in the work to be able to do that. And so what I always try to do as a player is, hey, I don't always control playing time. Coaches control that, whether you're a high school or college student, but I'm going to reach my potential. I can't just, they're playing more minutes so they're more successful. If you get going down that road, you're never going to have enough money, you're never going to have a good enough job, you've really got to sit down and reach your potential. If you've worked as hard as you can work, you might fail at things, you might not get the results you want, but if you've worked the hardest on that, then you can, really look at yourself in the mirror and be okay with it, and that'll help you going through school, college life, all those lessons translate to all that.
Thank you, Coach Casey Fowler. Laredo ISD would like to salute you for your service to our country, and we would like to continue to welcome you to Laredo, Texas.